Hello children, welcome back. Today I'm going to take up class 8 geography. We will continue with the same chapter, chapter 2, population dynamics. And today I'm going to teach you population change. So the population change refers to the change in the number of people living in an area during a specific time, say a decade. Now, as you can see from this image, it is very clear that earlier the population was very less. Slowly and gradually it started to increase. Now, the population of the world has not been stable. This is actually because of the change in number of deaths and births. Now, in 1800s, the population of the world was growing slowly and steadily. Alright. The number of births were very high, but the babies could not survive because of poor health facilities. Now, in those times, all the people did not have access to proper health facilities. There was shortage of food, plus there was lack of basic amenities. Hence, the growth of the population was very slow. In 1820s, we can see that the population reached to 1 billion. And in early 1970s, the world's population reached to a 3 billion. And then in less than 45 years, in the year 2010, the population was just doubled and it reached to 6 billion. Now this term is often known as population pyramid. What is population pyramid? When there is a sudden increase in the number of people. Alright. This term is known as population explosion. Factors responsible for population change. Number 1, the population increase in the world is mainly due to rapid increase in natural growth rate. Natural growth rate means the difference between the birth rate, the death rate and migration. Now what is birth rate? Now births are usually measured or calculated with the help of birth rate, that is the number of live births per 1,000 people. Death rate. Now deaths are usually measured using the death rate, that is the number of deaths per 1,000 people. And migration is the movement of people in and out of that area. So these are the three major causes for population change. Now the population can be described in three stages. Number 1, when the birth rate is high but the death rate is low. In such a condition in that country, the population will increase. In the second stage, we can describe it as when the birth rate and death rate both are equal. In such a condition, the population of that country will remain the same. And in the third condition, we can describe it as when the birth rate is low but death rate is high. In such a condition, the population of that country will decrease. Now let us see the effect of migration on population change. How does it affect the change in population? Now migration can be broadly divided into two: international migration and internal migration. Now what is international migration? Movement of people from one country to another across the international borders is known as international migration. Now let us see with the help of an example. Now children, you need to remember one thing, that the population change is not the same all over the world. In some countries, the population will increase and in some countries the population will decrease. Alright. So because of migration, also in some countries the population will increase and in some countries it will decrease. Now let us see the first example. Now developed countries like Australia, United States, Canada, etc. Alright, in these countries the population is increasing day by day. What is the reason? because people from other countries are coming to settle down in these developed countries. Now, what are these people known as? These people are known as immigrants in those countries where they are going to stay. Okay. Now, the second condition is that in some countries the population is going down. Now, which are those countries? These are the same countries from where the people are moving away to go and settle down in the developed countries. There are some countries like Sudan, India, Sri Lanka who are experiencing a loss in population due to immigration. Immigration means the people who have left their countries. Alright. And because of this, the developing countries are facing a problem as the people who are leaving these countries are mostly the youth. The youth of these countries are leaving these developing countries and going to developed countries in search of good job opportunities and a better standard of living. Now let us understand what is internal migration. So the movement of people from one region to another or from one state to another state within the country is known as internal migration. Now children, let me explain you this with the help of an example. Now if people are moving from one city to another, from one state to another state within the country, it is known as internal migration. Let's say people moving from Bangalore to Pune or people moving from Bhopal to Mumbai. Alright, this movement will be known as internal migration. Internal migration does not have any impact on the size of population, meaning the size of the population does not change of that country because the people are not going away from that country. All right, they're not leaving the country, but they are moving around within the same country. They're just moving from one state to another state within the country. So why does this internal migration takes place? So a large number of people move from rural areas to urban areas or from villages to the cities in search of better job opportunities, better education, better health facilities, and better standard of living. Hence, because of this, internal migration takes place. Internal migration is of four types. Alright, the movement can be from rural to rural, urban to rural, rural to urban areas, or from urban to urban areas. Now, what is population? Composition. The composition of population refers to the structure of population. Some of its components are age, gender, literacy, and occupation. Now, how does the study of composition helps us? It helps us to know the number of males and females, alright, in that country. It helps us to know the age group to which these males and females belong to, whether it is from 0 to 4 or is it from 5 to 10 or is it from 10 to 14 and so on. It helps us to know their education status, it helps us to know their income level, it helps us to know their occupation. Alright, where are they where are they employed, alright, what occupation do they have, and it also helps us to know the health conditions of the people of that country. Now, a very interesting way to study the composition of population is with the help of a population pyramid. Now, what is a population pyramid? As you can see in this diagram, all right, and the image that is given to, on the screen, it is clearly states that population pyramid is a graphical illustration that shows distribution of various age groups in a population, which normally forms the shape of pyramid. Alright, a population pyramid is also known as age sex pyramid. Why is it known as age sex pyramid? Because With the population pyramid, we get to know the number of males and females, and also we get to know under which age group do they belong to. All right. Now, on the y-axis, as you can see, the age group in years is mentioned from 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 5 to 19, and so on till 85 plus. On the x-axis, we have the population. On the left-hand side, we have the males, and on the right-hand side, females are shown. Alright, and the graph is divided into two to show the male and the female population separately. Now, population pyramid shows number 1, the total population divided into various age groups, example 5 to 9 years, 10 to 14 years. Second, the percentage of the total population subdivided into males and females in each of these groups. Second, it reveals us number of children. Now, number of children means the children who are the people who fall under the age of 14. All right, those who come between the age group of 0 to 14 are considered as children. 15 years and above are not considered as children. All right. Plus, it is also reflects the level of births. Second, it shows us the number of aged people, those who come under the category of, in the category of 60 years, all right, who are above 60 years. Okay. It also shows us how many dependents are there in a country. Over here, dependent word means the people who are not earning. Now, the dependents can be broadly classified into two groups, that is, the age group 0 to 14, all right, under which the children fall, and the age group of 60 years and above, in which the old or the aged people fall. Now, both are dependents. Why? Because both these groups do not work, they do not earn, they're dependent on their family members for the fulfillment of their needs. All right. They are not economically independent. Hence, they are known as dependents, or they will come under the category of dependents. Now, let us understand this population pyramid. Now, as you can see, that this population pyramid is very broad at the base, but as we move upwards, all right, you can see that it is narrowing down, and towards the tip it completely narrows down. Now, this condition, from this population pyramid, we can understand that in this country the birth and the death rate both are very high. All right, means the births are more, but the children are not able to survive, hence they are not able to reach the old age. Over here, the life expectancy is low. All right, the people are not able to live a very long life. So the population pyramid of a country in which birth and death rates both are high is broad at the base and rapidly narrows towards the top. It is because although many children born, a large percentage of them die in their infancy. Infancy means when they are still babies or when they are very small. So relatively very few of these children that are born are able to reach their youth or are able to become adults, and still very few of them are able to reach the old age. So now this situation is represented by the population pyramid of Kenya. The population pyramid I just showed is a model of country Kenya. Now this population pyramid structure represents an underdeveloped country. If you want to show the structure of an underdeveloped country, this is how the population pyramid will look like. Next is the population pyramid of India. In this, we can see that the base of the population pyramid is less narrow. All right. So in countries where death rate, especially amongst the very young, is less than the birth rate, the pyramid is broad in the younger age groups. That means that from this we can say that the children who are born are able to reach to their youth. All right, we have lot of young people in this country. All right, so this means more infants survive to adulthood. Such populations contain a relatively large number of young people, and this means a strong and expanding labor force. So this can be seen in the pyramid for India. All right, so children, this population pyramid, this shows the structure of a developing country. And the last one is the population pyramid of a developed country. Over here we see in countries the birth rate is low, the pyramid will be narrow at the base. Can you see at the bottom of this population pyramid as compared to the previous two population pyramid, the bottom is very narrow. Decreased death rates allow numbers of people to reach old age. Alright, so the death rate is less, hence many people reach to the old age. Hence we can say the life expectancy over here is good. Many people reach to the old age. They live a long life. So for example, low birth rates make the pyramid of Japan narrow at the base. Now this model represents or shows the structure of a developed country. And with this, we end the chapter. I hope today's lecture was clear. You were able to understand the composition of population, and you were also able to understand the population pyramid.